Welcome to another Being Outdoor product pick. This month we're going to take a look at the 2015 Bear Archery Arena 34. We became a Bear Archery dealer about 2-3 years ago, and each year they come up with a new flagship bow, and each year there's either something that they change with their draw cycle or a new cam or something that they're always doing, trying to make things better, and that's one thing I really like about Bear. Another thing that I'm impressed by Bear is that they have a full line of bows. They have their flagship bows, which one I'm going to go over today. In some of our past videos, we've took a look at some of their youth bows, and so they got bows that go from 5 to 70 pound adjustability, 11-12 inches in draw length, and start around $300 on up. And then they have package bows in the $400 or $500 range, all the way up to, you know, premium style bows. And so with Bear, they no matter what budget you're in, whatever style of hunter you are, they have something that'll fit your needs. Okay, so this year they came out with the Arena 34 and the Arena 30. The 30 is the shorter version of this bow. This is 34.5 inch axle to axle bow. It is a 6.5 inch brace height bow. Something new that Bear did this year is come out with what they call a sand color, and I'm going to get in close so you can see that finish. Okay, and what they do is they use the black limbs. Okay, so you can take a look here. I'll flip this back this way. All right, and so you can, they got this nice brown, and this is what they call their sand finish. Okay, very sharp, very nice coating on the bow. There's no flaws or anything on it that I can see. Also, if you notice with the sand color, they have these what I would call a tan and green. Okay, that'll focus a little better. You can see those tan and green strings and cables there. Okay, so they match up nice with the bow. So let's get into it. They do have the dampeners here in the riser to help quiet the bow down. There's dual string stops, okay, on the bow, and at the tops and the bottoms here, those are adjustable. They have their cable slide system here, okay, and we'll demonstrate how all this works in a minute, and you can see that. I just have a whisker biscuit on here, a nice stainless steel threaded for your stabilizer there. If you notice, in years past with Bear bows, they came with the rubber grip on them. This year, they're coming stock with just the plain thin grip, but with the bow in the package, with each bow comes the rubber grip. So if you want to go back, if you like that older style better, or maybe the thin grip just don't fit your needs or your style of shooting, then that's in the box. You don't have to pay anything extra for it or anything like that. All right. The cam system, okay, if you take a look at the cams, this is what we call a rotating module cam. The cool thing about this is that you, at home, without a bow press, can take this bolt here and this one here. I'm trying to do it and look at the same time without blocking you. You can take those two out and you just rotate this module around. I'm going to get in here very close, and you see it's lined up on the 8, okay, and you can see that. Let that focus a minute. Okay, you can see the little dot 8 and the dot, okay, and you saw those other numbers there. You take those two little bolts out and just slide that to whatever number, to the corresponding draw length that you want, okay, and then you do this on the cable stop here. It's the same thing. You take this just one little bolt out and you put it in the corresponding numbered hole that you line up here. Okay, so if this was on 8 here, this is in the cable stop is in the number 8 hole here. If we was to move this to number 6, whichever draw length that equates to, we would move our cable stop to number 6. Keep in mind, you do need to do that for both cams. Don't do it for one and not the other, okay? Your bow won't be in time and you won't have the correct draw length. You have to do that for both cams. We also highly recommend that you use some sort of Loctite. What I like to use and what's been recommended to me over the years is the Loctite. I think it's called Purple. It's like the light medium strength, because with bows there are vibrations, and those screws will work themselves out. So anytime I do any type of mod swap or any type of draw length adjustment where I'm messing with the cams and taking little screws out or string stops, I always use that Loctite to make sure that my screws don't pop out on me or anything like that. And a single cam bow, that can be quite the problem if you draw the bow and you lost a string stop or a cable stop and you overcycle the cams. Okay, so you got to be very careful about that. This bow that IBO's at 340 feet per second. I do like the 34-inch axle to axle. Everyone has to ask themselves what is the best bow for their style shooting, their style hunting. Some people think 34 or 35 inch, they have this giant long bow in the stand with them, and they like those shorter bows. And for those people, that's fine. So that's why they have the 30 inch and 34. I like the longer axle bows. I feel like I shoot better with them. I like the draw cycle a little bit better on the longer axle to axle bows. But that's just a personal preference. I encourage every person to go out, shoot each bow, and let the bow pick you. Okay, don't let someone else tell you what bow you need. Okay. So what we're going to do, I think I've talked about everything there is to talk about. We're going to run a few shots here through this. Like I said, I just have a whisker biscuit on here, and then I have a just a knock point there. And I'm going to draw it the first time, just draw it back, and just let a shot go so you can kind of hear what the shot sounds like and kind of see what happens. And then the second one, like I normally do, I'll draw it back, kind of let down on it, and go through that procedure like I normally do. All right, so bow's pretty smooth draw cycle, and I've shot this bow before, but it's a very smooth draw cycle. It is a little bit of vibration on the shot, not a whole lot. No more than what a stabilizer would take out. Okay, any type of stabilizer, whether it's a cheap $40 one or you get by a $100 or $200 stabilizer, any of those, even the cheap of the cheap, will take that out. They have a very nice static stabilizer that I believe is 9-inch, and then they have a 6-inch model, or maybe 7-inch. But both of those, they're made by Trophy Ridge, are good choices to quiet this bow down as far as hand shot. But it's very, very small. Okay. Something about this bow too, it does use the cable stops, so the stops do not stop on the limbs, they stop on the cable. Okay, and so when you draw back, it's got a pretty firm back wall, but it does IBO at 340 feet per second, so there's a bit of a speed bow in that it's wanting to take off a little bit. Very smooth on the pullback, but if you want to inch forward, it will get away from you if you're not careful. Okay, I'm going to try to demonstrate that a little bit. There's not a big valley in it like we see from some other bow lines. Okay, so I'm going to try to demonstrate that with you, and you can kind of see me. I'm going to draw it back and try to talk at the same time, but I'm going to just inch it forward ever so gently, and you'll get to see, if you've watched a lot of our other bows, you'll get to see how much inching forward I'm doing and how much the bow's wanting to go with me. Okay, so hopefully that'll be a little bit obvious here. All right, so we're going to come straight back, and we're at full draw, and we're just going to inch it forward. And you see, I'm just going very, very small. Measurement, I would say a 1/4 inch, maybe less. I mean, there's not a whole lot of play there. I start going forward, and it's ready to go. Okay, so you got to be careful about that. You know, some people are very used to those bows and like that, and that's fine. I'm just telling you what the facts are. Okay, so we're going to go to a full draw again. Like I said, very, very small hand shock. As you saw there too, after the shot, the bow's very well balanced, just sitting right in the cradle of my hand, no problem. I really do like Bear Archery. I've sold their products for the last few years. I've hunted with Bear Archery products before and been very satisfied with them. The whole bow has a lifetime warranty on it. Everything on the bow is covered just about by that, with the exception of cosmetic things or strings and cables. But I will say this, There's been plenty of times that I've had an issue that was user induced, if you know what I mean, on a Bear bow, and Bear Archery helped them and took care of it. And so that kind of speaks to the customer service that they have. A lot of people will gripe about warranty service when they're the ones that caused the problem, and when it's not the company's place to fix something that you created a problem. But I've seen Bear Archery fix things that I've seen other companies wouldn't fix. But for the most part, about all companies have pretty good customer service and try to work with their customers too and try to build that relationship. And but this is the Bear Archery Arena 34. This is in the sand. This bow actually is available for purchase. The retail on these bows are $8.99, and that's shipped to your door. We can get any bow you want, any configuration you want, any poundage you want, and we'll be glad to set the draw length. We can set the bow up for you or do whatever you want. Always feel free to contact us about current specials we may be running. We run specials all the time on a lot of our bows. Our phone number is 336-564-2400. Our email address is Eric, E-R-I-C, at beanoutdoors.com. And our website is www.beanoutdoors.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll have another Bean Outdoor product pick for you next month.